So being the #1 Ballistic on PC, you'd think to get consistent kills every day, you'd need to be consistent in your sensitivity settings, etc. And you'd mostly be right, but for some reason, one late night of Apex, I decided to experiment with some very, very different sensitivities. I began to feel my sense was starting to feel a bit too slow. Instead of incrementally upping my sensitivity, I just full sent it and went to a very, very high sense. Well, at least for me. I went from mainly arm aiming to complete wrist aiming, and the results really surprised me. I started having banger games after banger games, and I honestly can't believe how good it felt. And for those wondering what sensitivity it was, I went from 1.3 on 800 DPI to 2.3 on 800 DPI, and there is a massive difference between the two. So in this video, you're going to see about 3 of those banger games, and at the end of this video, if you guys are interested after the gameplay, I'm going to give a quick breakdown on my logic behind the changes to just go to such a high sense, and also what it actually taught me about my current sensitivity. So if that kind of topic interests you, make sure to stick around till the end of the video. And obviously, it goes without saying, this being such a high sensitivity for me and being all wrist aim, there's going to be some whiffs, there's going to be some shakiness, but nevertheless the games are absolute bangers, so I do hope you enjoy. And without wasting any more of your time, let's get into the video.
fine. No point peeking everywhere.
Even this motley band could make it in 30 seconds.
Nice, lad. How many kills, man?
I mean, I'm telling you now, I am not sticking to this, because as you can see in that video, my aim was quite shaky, but maybe with a bit of time, this is kind of good. Unless that was just an awful lobby. huge shout out to this teammate, man. Like, this Revenant is genuinely, like, so insane. Yeah, I mean, 2.3. I'm not gonna lie, as you guys can see, my aim is, like, very inconsistent. It's very shaky, obviously, because it's such a high sense. Do I think I'm gonna stick to the sense? No. I think I'll probably go back. But, like, it's making me it's not an easy decision, because even though my aim's super shaky, when I'm hitting shots, it feels really nice. And again, shout out to my teammate here. So yeah, that was really nice. GG's.
Half the squad.
Scripts read in chat, bro.
Bro, what is this sense? Like, it's so shaky, and I feel like I'm just not even good at the game with it, but like, I'm just getting these bangers. And honestly, yeah, I have no idea what was going on there. But just like I said at the beginning of the video, in this part, I'm just going to kind of sit here and just kind of very quickly talk about what led me to make the decision and what I've actually learned from it. So something that I do if I'm having a really bad day in Apex, and this is something that you guys could try yourself. If I'm having a really bad day in terms of my mechanics, my sensitivity, I'm not feeling right, I'm over flicking, under flicking, things like that. Something that I implement is I will go to the extremes in terms of sensitivity. Now, most of the time that means I lower my sensitivity to a sense that most people would probably consider way too low, and then I play a couple games with that. Sometimes I'm happily surprised that it actually feels quite nice, but most of the time, you know, I'm restricted, it doesn't feel very good, and then I go back to my normal sensitivity, and it sort of resets me a little bit. It does really help me kind of lock in with my normal sensitivity. Sometimes on mouse and keyboard, you know, you're gonna have bad days, and it really helps me sometimes correct those bad days, and it stops me getting into the habit of just constantly changing my sensitivity over and over again, like I used to, so it's kind of helping me with that. That is something I would recommend to you guys if it's something that, if you guys have days where you're really struggling, just for a couple of games, go either really high or really low. Don't like try and find some middle ground, just to a sensitivity you probably know you're probably not going to be too good on. Play it out in the firing range or play some games. That is what I do. I play games with them, and then I go back to my normal sensitivity, and it feels like home. But so what I was actually doing late night is I was actually trying this out. I've had a couple of people talk to me about DPI, and a lot of people have been kind of switching to 1600 DPI. So I was testing out different DPIs, and for some reason tried 2K DPI, and then kind of ended up running a game, which is actually the game that you're seeing in the background now, and the sense didn't feel too weird, but I didn't like the DPI in the menu at all. So I changed it to 800 DPI, kept messing around, and ended up landing on 2.3, and that's when the games that you guys saw happened. And what it's really made me learn about my sensitivity by increasing it so high, I actually think I was restricting myself just a little bit on the 1.3 being so arm based, especially with the position that I sit at my desk, because everyone sits differently. I think I was restricting myself. I didn't give myself too much range of motion, so when it came to long range fights, or even when I was tracking close range, I knew that I struggled. So what I've done from this is I've actually upped my default sensitivity, so I now play on 1.6. Obviously this is all subject to change. I could very much change this in the future, and it could be on a different sensitivity, but I've upped my sensitivity to 1.6 to incorporate a little bit more of my wrist, so that my long range fighting gets better, and my vertical tracking and close range tracking also improves, and I'm also just a lot more confident. I feel like I'm winning more gunfights. I am an advocate for a slower sense the better, but there is such a thing as too slow, and obviously everyone is very different. It depends how you sit at your desk, it depends on a lot of different factors, so do experiment to a healthy extent. Don't obviously change every day, or if you miss a shot, change your sensitivity, because that's what I used to do, and it really held me back for a number of years, not only in Apex but in other games and stuff like that as well. So what I took away from this is that doing something like this, making my sense either very high or very low, really helps put a light on the things that I struggle with the most. It really helped me kind of figure out what I need to do in order to correct them from a sensitivity standpoint. I've even started hopping into some aim trainers, and it's also really helping me in them. My scores are getting higher, things like that. So yeah, obviously this might not work for everybody, but doing this little weird thing in the middle of the night has really helped shine a light on something that I really struggled with in Apex. I didn't even really know I struggled with it in Apex, but it shined a light on it, and I was able to find a way to correct it. You know, obviously I'm not on the 2.3, which was a bit too inconsistent at times. What you guys saw were banger games, and these did happen very close together, but most of the time, but the games that you didn't see, which were the little games in between, the odd 2-minute, 3-minute game, I was dying off spawn because I just couldn't aim. So it was a bit too inconsistent, but it really helped me kind of learn that I need to up my sensitivity, and I'll hit more shots, especially that medium to long range, which is where I struggled the most. So that is what this has taught me. If you guys want me to do more videos about sensitivity, settings, things like that, please do let me know in the comments below, because it's a topic I'm very interested in. You know, in the course of my ballistic kill grind, I have been experimenting a lot, so if you guys want me to make videos on these topics, please let me know in the comments below. If you've actually stayed to just listen to me rant at the end, because this is completely unscripted, and I know I probably repeated a couple things, so I'm very sorry about that. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you in the next one.